On April 20th, 2010, British Petroleum's Deepwater Horizon exploded, killing 11 workers and forever altering the ecosystem of the Gulf of Mexico.
You know, Louisiana, this area has always been a big draw to me. I have spent my vacations over here. My family, friends come over here. We film a lot of shows. Some of the best fishing trips I've ever had in my life have been along the Louisiana coast from Grand Isle to Venice. I've came here after hurricanes. I've came here after tropical storms. And after this disaster, it didn't even dawn on me that the impact that could happen until it began to unfold. So it became apparent that this is an area that I like, I love, and I've got a great passion for, and I wanted to immediately come over and see what was going on and look at it from my point of view, from a fisherman's point of view, from people that sport fish and how it affects their life and what's going to go on there. So it didn't take long for me to want to make this trip.
Now, at first glance, a casual visitor to the Venice Marina would think it is business as usual in this launching point to some of the best inshore and offshore fishing in the United States. But it only takes a few minutes and reality comes into view. Literally hundreds of workers and tons of equipment have descended onto the coastlines of Louisiana and Alabama in an attempt to save an entire ecosystem and the people that count on it for their way of life. With us today is Chris Edmonston of BoatUS and Billy Nicholas from the Venice Fishing Lodge.
When the horizon first blew up, you know, it didn't really dawn on us that it was going to be as bad as it is, or could be, I guess. You know, our first concern was for the 11 men that perished in the fire, and you know, our heart goes out to their families. And then, you know, as time went on, we realized the possibility that we were going to have an impact on our fishery from the oil, not only recreational fishing, but the oysters and shrimping and everything else that goes along with it. You know, you feel like you're in a helpless situation. There's not really anything you can do but just wait. As of yet, you know, they found a few traces of oil on the beach, but nothing's come into our estuaries yet. The areas are closed to fishing. Hopefully the booms will contain the oil. They'll get the well shut off and be able to deal with what they have out there now. The reports are that there's been about 4 million gallons of oil spilled. It continues at a rate of, you know, 200,000 gallons a day, so it doesn't take long to increase that volume of oil that we have to deal with. We made a run down today, saw a lot of guys working out there. It's amazing that the efforts being put forth to protect our estuaries, and I think that BP and NOAA, and the EPA, the Coast Guard, everybody's doing what they can. I honestly feel that way.
So right now we're at the South Pass Lighthouse, just a little bit below Venice, Louisiana. As you can see behind me, there's all kinds of activity going on with boats loading up with what are called pom-poms and oil spill booms. Now the people behind us are very well trained to handle this kind of situation. They've been coming in from all over the country just to work on this oil spill. Now as a recreational boat owner or just a beachfront property owner, there are some things that you can and can't do in regards to dealing with the oil. The best thing you can do is leave it to the professionals to clean up.
If you're looking for up-to-date information on the Deepwater Horizon disaster, there are several websites you can visit. BoatUS.com offers up-to-date info on the oil spill and affected locations, as well as tips for dealing with boaters' issues relating to this disaster. The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries is also posting the latest reports, including areas closed off to boating and recreation.
All across the Gulf, there are areas that are closed to both recreational and commercial fishing. You want to keep up with those closures and make sure that you're not fishing in an area that's been contaminated by oil. Go to the website and check it out.
Welcome back to Americana Outdoors from Venice, Louisiana. Before we head out on the water, let's check in with Chris Edmonston from BoatUS.
So we're here today at Venice Marina in Venice, Louisiana. This is pretty much ground zero for all of the oil cleanup efforts. And what I want to do today is talk a little bit about what recreational boaters can and can't do while the oil spill cleanup is going on. If your marina or boat club puts oil containment booms in place, do not attempt to cross the booms with your boat. Not only is it illegal, but it can spread the oil and damage the booms or possibly your vessel's running gear. If there is oil in your marina, refrain from running engines or other devices that have seawater intakes such as air conditioners or refrigerators. To be safe, keep all through water openings closed. Hauling out your boat will prevent any damage and is probably the safest thing you can do for your boat right now. If the spill is sighted coming toward your marina or already there, you can call the BP Community Information Hotline to make a report. If your boat comes in contact with the oil, call your insurance company to file a claim. If you do happen to get some oil on your boat, it's not the end of the world. While heavy oiling can permanently stain your boat, it's not going to lead to any kind of structural problems or issues with your gel coat. Light oiling can be easily cleaned up with some regular cleaners like you normally use for cleanup.
For more useful tips on maintaining your boat and equipment, as well as online access to the latest reports on the spill, its impact and area restrictions, please visit the BoatUS website at BoatUS.com. The Deepwater Horizon tragedy will very likely have long-reaching implications within the Gulf of Mexico, and without the proper management could very likely seriously damage the delicate ecosystem in the marshes and swamplands of southern Louisiana. Even with oil and sludge already seeping into the region, there are still opportunities for recreational sportsmen. We've teamed up with the good folks from the Venice Fishing Lodge to help us better understand the impact to the locals and what opportunities still exist.
Now, as a commercial guy, are you seeing efforts aimed at you in particular, or is it pretty much the same as what any regular boater would see?
As far as the
efforts to get in contact with you and to let you know what's going on. I know there's some special programs as a commercial person for economic loss, but as far as sharing news with you, are they going out to people in general or commercial people in particular?
I get an email update every day. Any new closures, whether they be oyster beds or recreational fishing or commercial fishing, shrimping, I get a new map almost every day, or at least every time they put one out, and they've been updating them pretty regularly since the 1st of May. So every day, I'll pull up my emails and look and see what's happening and what's going on. And anytime that they have a confirmed area where tar balls or oil is showing up, they'll let us know that. Watching the media on TV and the different things hasn't been real good. When they first showed up down here, the news media would go out and they'd see slicks just like that right there.
Right.
They'd see that and they'd go, oil, and they'd come running in and report that they saw oil at South Pass, which couldn't be further from the truth. It could have been, a wind slick, or it could have been, some trout feeding on menhaden, and it'd be a big oil slick popping up. They didn't know what they were looking at, so there was a lot of misinformation. But when they actually do find something, they're on it, and they let everybody know. And I think the information coming down on behalf of the parish, it couldn't be better. Boy, you pulled him out of the woodwork, didn't you?
Look at that. That one's got some shoulders.
He's got a tail as big as my hand. That's a nice fish right there. He wanted it, huh?
That's a nice looking fish.
A nice fish, Wade.
I think a lot of things that people have to take away from this is there are still opportunities out here. This isn't a massive whole closure across the area. There's places that are closed to certain opportunities and applications from a recreational standpoint. But there are many places still open to go fish. So I think the thing people have to remember is pay attention to what can happen in your area. Read about it, find out where you can and can't go, and go to those locations, because eventually all of this will rebound. We'll all come back, and we'll have plenty of other opportunities in the future.
If you're planning a trip to Venice, Americana Outdoors would like to recommend the Venice Fishing Lodge. Give them a call at 504-657-5937.